are having an incredible weekend wherever you're at. I am enjoying a very sunny and pretty dang warm Saturday in the Sacramento area. So anyway, I just wanted to pop on while I was thinking about it. I think recently I know a lot of friends, and in my networks, I have a few colleagues that are just right now in the middle of building something. They're not quite there yet. They're maybe still at a point where they're trying to figure something out, or they're just not sure why whatever they're working on has stalled out and just feels like they're not making any progress at all. And so if you're listening to me and you resonate with that, you're like, oh yes, I feel like I keep putting in work and I'm just not there yet, or I feel like I'm not going as fast as I should be, or as fast as it looks like other people are going. I want you to know that first of all, you are not alone, and that second of all, this is actually a really valuable part of your journey and your story that will make whatever you're building even stronger. And as I was thinking about the dear friends, one of them, a gentleman who he was frustrated that he kind of had to make a little bit of a pivot in his business recently. And first, if you're watching this, you know who you are. Thank you for trusting me with that. And I want to reiterate what I told you earlier, is that this is a very important part of your journey. You're building something that matters. And sometimes you just need to kind of like hammer it out, right? Like you can start with a blob of gold or silver, like it's valuable stuff, but sometimes you just kind of need to like pound in different areas to shape it in a way that it feels really authentic to you. You know that you're delivering and over delivering to your clients, but then your clients also, they realize the value that you offer and take you up on what you have, what you do in your business. So the phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. We've heard that a trillion times, probably, right? But I think it's incomplete. I think it kind of misses the point. And so I would like to change the saying now, officially on the 1st of June in 2019, to go from Rome wasn't built in a day to Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built. It was built. Step by step. Just because it wasn't built in a day, obviously it was built. So don't discount if you're working on something and it's taking longer than you thought. Just remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built brick by brick. Sometimes I'm sure there were weather delays, supply delays, all manner of delays. But when we look at what was actually constructed, we know that the people who built it pushed through whatever, exhaustion or limitations, or had to figure something out on the fly, a problem that they didn't see at the beginning, but while they were building it, they came across and realized, we're gonna have to figure this out. Oh, and I actually have two stories along those lines. All right, and let me know which one is your favorite. One, have you ever gone hiking, and when you start hiking, you're like, wow, this is so beautiful, like whatever trail you're on. I'm in Northern California, so we love the redwoods, like the coastal redwoods on the peninsula in the San Francisco Bay, one of our favorite hiking areas for sure. But once we start hiking, we can hike like 100 feet, and then we look around and the view that we have, the new perspective we have, is totally different than just 100 feet prior. So I trust that as we hike, we start seeing new vistas, and we can see further because we're higher up. We have new vantage points that we didn't even know existed when we were at the beginning of the hike. So as you're building your Rome, whatever that is, just know that as you continue to build, there's this point of completion, but then there's also this point of new vista, new perspective, new insight, new value to add to your clients. And that is all even before it's actually complete and can actually be considered Rome. Pardon me. And then what I mentioned in the description too is a family that lived on the other side of the world from where I'm at in California a few hundred years ago. And this family is the Medici family. So you may be familiar with what their work or what their influence, but if you're not familiar with them, they're one of the most influential families during the time of the Renaissance. So they were connectors, is really, I think, what they're most known for. So they brought mathematicians together, they brought artists together, philosophers together, scientists together, and there were a lot of breakthroughs in those. Actually, there's a book called The Medici Effect I'd recommend. The author of that book calls them intersections. So where math and art intersect, there can be some really beautiful findings, some really beautiful insights that can spark entire new industries or a solution to a problem no one thought was actually solvable. But so that's just the Medicis in general. It's an incredible story of the legacy that family left. And there's a show, I want to say it was on Netflix, called The Medicis, and it's kind of soapy, but I do love a good historical fiction, movie or show. And so in this show, I don't know if it's historically accurate, but it makes the points I'm going to share with you. The Medicis, they kind of fund the building of a cathedral in their area. I don't know if they called it a cathedral actually, but it was a very, very large church in their area. And so when they started building it, the plans that they had included this enormous dome at the top. I mean, and in that day, it was just unheard of that the span of a dome could exist without pillars underneath it. There would be no mid supports. It was just unheard of, and actually no one knew how to do it. But they started building, believing that by the time they got up to that point, the technology would have progressed, the right people would have been born and trained, and in that spot, they trusted the lineage because it was going to take over 100 years to do. They trusted that, all right, I'm going to start this. I don't know how to finish it, but by the time we get to the point where we need to know, we're going to trust that knowledge, that expertise, that the right people are there. And so if you're building, I want you to know that you may not know how to build the dome on whatever you're building, but trust, just keep building another brick, another layer, keep putting in the time, keep putting in the steps, and you will become the person that you need to become to figure out that dome. And whether that's bringing in someone else to your team and someone else's expertise, or you will figure it out. You'll become the person that you need to become to finish the dome. And so even if what you're working on right now is taking longer than you thought, you feel like you're in that messy middle, as Michael Hyatt calls, you just feel like it's taking so much longer, this is kind of a slog, is it gonna be worth it? I don't see the end clear anymore, I'm just in that middle, like I said. Trust that Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built. So keep on stepping, keep on building, keep on layering the work that you're doing. And even if you have to, at some point, like my dear friend that I mentioned earlier, as he was pivoting, even if it feels like you're taking away a brick, trust that you're making that layer even stronger and more sure and ready to hold what you're going to build on it. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this insightful and thought-provoking. And I encourage you, until the next time we talk, continue to be up and to the right.